Hello, in this video I'm going to take you through my watercolour palette. Have a little tour of it to see what we've got. I've actually got 30 colours, and here's a chart I've made of them where I've mixed the colours together, and out of 30 colours I can get over 460 colours from them. And I do like the fact that when I've got some interesting purples here, got some lovely range of blues down here, some interesting colours up here, and I love these sort of browns. I love when I mix colours getting those interesting neutrals. So beautiful oranges around here. Oh, I just love them all. Lovely shades of green. I mean, if I'm doing landscapes, I've got everything there that I need. So I'm going to show you the palettes that I've got. These are my Jeff Kersey palettes. I've got two of them because they only take 15. They've only got 15 wells in each. Let's open the first one up. Right, so in this one I've got all my blues and greens. And as you see, 15 wells. Now, I've got these that I've painted, so I know which one is which. Right, so I've started off. Now, the only old one in this lot is the sepia, and that's because I like mixing it with the blues to make a nice dark grey, or even a black if I use a really dark blue. So I've got Payne's Grey because I do use Payne's Grey occasionally. Not very often, but I do. I don't use black. That's the only colour I don't use is black. Now the sepia, as I said, is the odd one. These two are Cotmans because I've had those for years. I've been painting with watercolours for 25 years now. And I bought these a long time ago. Now, because they're sort of fairly basic colours, I don't use them a lot. I haven't upgraded to the artist quality. I think they are fine as they are. Now, this is indigo. I've got this in Winsor and Newton, but this in here is the Daniel Smith. It's actually darker than that, but it's a gorgeous dark colour. It's very similar to Payne's Grey, but with a little bit more blue in it. It mixes... Oh, makes some lovely mixes. Let's have a look at it here. Payne's Grey. No, indigo. Here we go. All these lovely colours it mixes. Look at that deep dark purple. Look at that red. It's amazing. Gorgeous greens, as I would expect. Mix it with yellow and you'll get some lovely greens. And these are quite similar, the blues, but I love it. So that's Payne's Grey. No, that's indigo, sorry. The next colour I've got is Indanthrene Blue. That is an amazing colour. It's so dark. Again, that's Daniel Smith because it got difficult to buy. And I think I couldn't buy it in Winsor and Newton. But I don't know if it's available in other manufacturers now. I've got a feeling it is. Good old ultramarine, French ultramarine, permanence. That's Winsor and Newton. I've had that for a long time. I use this colour a lot. It's great for mixes. It's one of my go-tos. And now in the big square in the centre, I've got Windsor Blue Red shade. I use that a lot. That's a good neutral colour. I love it. Now the next colour I use a lot. It's Cobalt Blue. One of the most expensive colours I've got. I think it's a series 3 and I use it a lot. So I spend some money on my watercolours. Winsor and Newton again. Cerulean Blue, another one that's a bit on the pricey range. It's worth getting the proper one, not the hue. It is slightly opaque. Most of my colours I prefer to be transparent, but it's slightly opaque, but that's okay. I forgive it because I love the colour so much. That's also Winsor and Newton. Prussian Blue, now that's another useful dark colour. Leans towards green, which is fine. I quite like that. It's great, makes great mixes. Look at it here. Gorgeous purples, gorgeous greens, quite vibrant greens. Love it. And it mixes well with the other blues. Love it. So that's Prussian Blue. The next one is Windsor Blue Green. Can you see a slight difference between the two colours? That's very slightly greener than that. So I'm glad I've got both of those. It gives me a good alternative. Next is Phthalo Turquoise. That's a gorgeous colour. I love it. I absolutely love the way that's mixed as well. Yes, look at the colours I've got through that. Lovely purples. Almost brown there. Love that colour. See those? And look at that grey. That is the most amazing grey. So if you mix Phthalo Turquoise with Windsor Red, look at that beautiful grey. That'd be lovely for shadows. Absolutely lovely. Look at that green. Lovely range of greens. Absolutely marvellous colour that is. Next to it I've got Cobalt Turquoise, which, that's a gorgeous colour too. That mixes beautifully too. But it's lighter than Phthalo Turquoise, so it's easier to use in certain paintings. These are all Winsor Newton, the ones I've just mentioned. This is a Winsor Newton, but it's a Cotman. It's hooker's green. Now, I don't use it a lot, but I quite like the way it mixes. So I've kept it in my palette. Hooker's green. That's a Cotman as well. I've had that for years. You can tell the ones that I don't use so much I've had for years. Good old sap green. I love it. Winsor Newton. It's great for mixes, great for landscapes. Then I've got green gold, which is almost a yellow, and that's De La Rowney. Love that colour. It's beautiful. It's one of my favourites. I love the way that mixes. Look, gorgeous, gorgeous. I need to see how that mixes with blues. Can I see how it mixes with blues? Green gold. Here it is. Lovely colours. Look at those gorgeous greens there. Love them. So that's my blue-green palette. So I work with two palettes because these are my studio palettes. I've got other palettes that I use for fun, but with my studio ones, there are two things to remember. I need a lot of space because I'm usually working larger, and also I want paints that are artist quality. Right, so here we are with the reds and the yellows. Oh, I love them. I could use so many more. I could have filled up with a lot more reds and yellows. I'll show you the other colours I would have chosen to put in with this. So we've gone from the yellow. Now we're going to Nickel Azo Yellow. I don't know where I got this one from because the tube is gone. This is the rest of it. I'll have to look that up. Again, this one is slightly more opaque. I think it has some white in it. Slightly more opaque than I prefer to use. But it's such a pretty colour, I've kept it, and I love the way it mixes. Let's have a look. Nickel Azo Yellow. Here we go. Mixes beautifully. Makes some lovely greens, and that colour I quite like, sepia, mixed nicely with that. Now my next colour is a rolling yellow. That's definitely a Winsor & Newton. Very nice colour, very transparent. I really like it. It's got to be in there. Windsor Yellow is good primary yellow, so I've included that. Hansa Yellow I really like for its warmth. I prefer that to Cadmium Yellow. And that's by Daniel Smith. Now this mess, this is not watercolour paper. Made a mess with my raw sienna. It was a bit too dry when I tried to put it on. But that is quite a nice yellow towards brown. It makes nice mixes. Let's have a look here. What colour was I saying? Raw sienna. Let's find raw sienna. Here we go. Very useful colour. Mixes some nice yellows. Makes some beautiful greens. Some lovely browns. That's an interesting colour. So I like that. Now my next one is Quinacridone Gold. Beautiful transparent colour. Look at it. Absolutely gorgeous. That's by Winsor & Newton. I do like my quinacridones, and I'll show you some others I've got as well in a minute. Good old new gamboge. That's a nice warm yellow, a bit like Hansa Yellow, but slightly less warm. It's a favourite of mine. That's Winsor & Newton. Now this colour, I've had this one for probably 20 odd years. This is Chinese Orange. Once upon a time, it was the only transparent orange you could buy. I think there are others now available. This is by Snellier. So other manufacturers now make them, but when I bought it, it was the only one I could find. So you could buy cheaper versions now. And the next one is Burnt Sienna, a good stalwart. I've always had this in my palette. And I use it, it makes nice mixes. I like to mix it with ultramarine blue for a nice dark. But also it mixes beautifully with yellows to make these gorgeous colours. And look at these lovely browny greens it makes. Love those. They'd be lovely in landscape paintings. And with Prussian blue, it makes quite a nice grey. Windsor Blue Red, it makes a nice neutral. Love that. And here it is with ultramarine. Could do a bit more blue on that to make that more neutral. And mixed with Payne's Grey, it makes a beautiful brown. I love it. And look at it with indigo. That's a lovely almost grey. And in Danthrene Blue, a lovely grey. So it's a useful colour to have. I can recommend that to any palette. Now in the corner here, I have Winsor Newton Red. That's a beautiful colour. Love it. Very useful. Use that a lot in floral paintings. This is Windsor Red Deep. And look at the difference. I had to include it because it's such a deep red. I love that. It's beautiful. Next is, what is that? Perylene by Daniel Smith. And that's almost a purple. I love it. It's a gorgeous colour. It makes nice mixes beautifully and makes some lovely, interesting greys. I absolutely love that colour. Good old permanent alizarin crimson by Winsor & Newton. Oh, the Perylene was by Daniel Smith, if I didn't say that. Permanent alizarin crimson by Winsor & Newton. I've always had that in my palette. I use it a lot. It's a very useful colour. Makes some beautiful mixes. Lovely purples with certain blues. Gorgeous colour. Now, I love this one. This is fairly new to me. This will be lovely for all sorts of paintings. It's Quinacridone Coral by Daniel Smith. It's a beautiful pink leaning towards orange. So coral is the best description for it. And it makes some amazing orangey mixes. I absolutely love this. Beautiful mixed with other colours. Just stunning. Oh, where are we? Yeah, we're stunning mixes into the purples. Absolutely love that colour. I'm going to use that a lot, I know. And finally, I've got Permanent Rose. Now, in my fun palette, I use Opera Rose, but it's very fugitive. It fades very quickly, but this one is Permanent Rose and doesn't fade. So if I'm making a professional painting to sell or a commission piece, I do not want any colours fading, so I use the Permanent Rose. And that's by Winsor & Newton. And again, beautiful mixes. Beautiful mixes. Look at those oranges. Gorgeous. Look at those purples. Amazing. Amazing purples. Love that colour. So that is a roundup of both my palettes. Right, I also promised I would show you some of the other colours I would have liked to have included in my red and yellow palette, but obviously 15 wells, not enough space, and so many beautiful reds. So many beautiful reds. But I keep these handy when I'm doing a studio painting in case I want to include them. I've got Permanent Mauve. Now that would have probably gone in the blue one. It's a gorgeous mauve. Permanent, love it. This is Opera Rose. It's in my fun palette. I won't use it for commercial paintings or commission pieces, unfortunately, but I love it. I love it. It's like fluorescent. And that's the trouble, it's the fluorescent part of it that fades. Good old Naples Yellow. I absolutely love Naples Yellow. Again, it's got a bit of white in, so it's a tad opaque. So I don't use it an awful lot, but I do love it. Scarlet Lake, beautiful bright scarlet, very useful for floral paintings. So that's nearby in case I need it, but there was not enough room to include it in. This is better than Cadmium Yellow, just thought I'd say. Cadmium Red, I mean, it's better. Quinacridone Red. Now I've got a couple of quinacridones, but this one I didn't manage to squeeze in, but it's a useful one to have, so that's handy. Indian Yellow. I love Indian Yellow. It's one of my favourites. So I've got that handy as well. It's a nice warm yellow, and I've got two other warm yellows on the palette, but I've got this nearby in case I really have the urge to use it. So what to do if I want to use any of these, I'll just pop a little bit on the edge of the palette and use them. So I just wanted to mention those before I round up. I hope I've given you some ideas of colours you might like to include. When I work, I stack them like that and I just work in here. Love them. So I hope that's given you some ideas. Any questions, just pop it down in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.